Hey, Krimazar here, and today I will be going over how to play egg opener, how to play with a teammate going egg opener, and how to play against the egg opener. You can skip to the section you want to learn more about using the timestamps below if you wish. If you are playing Lost Ark on the West Coast server Mari, come join my guild that my friends have made in honor of my new channel. Our guild is called Krimazar Ltd. Now, let's get started right away because there's a lot to cover. Alright, let's start off with the basics of how to play egg opener for those of you who have never heard of it before. Grarl's passive, Delicacy, allows him to be sold for 90% of his original cost. What's so amazing about this is that it allows you to sell Grarl on wave 2 to play any tier 6 unit you want, such as Egg Sack. Egg Sack hatches once it dies or after surviving 2 waves. Incubation reduces the stats of the Hydra the earlier the egg dies. If the egg dies, Explosion will deal damage to all nearby enemies. And lastly, Azurite Shell reflects damage every time it is attacked. Explosion and Azurite Shell are so insignificant later in the game because of how little damage it does. However, early game it has the potential to clear waves all by itself. We want to take advantage of this combo to create a nearly leak-proof early game. The problem is that this opener can be countered by proper sends. The point of this guide is to show you how to properly defend against these sends. The first thing you do when you load into a ranked game is choose units. If you happen to get Grarl and Egg Sack, this flowchart will help you pick your units. The link to the flowchart can be found in the description, and my other Protek Egg 101 videos will help you with positioning. Alternatively, I will provide another link in the description to all my resources on egg openers with a website that I created. Let's move on to more advanced topics now for you veterans out there. First, you need to identify whether your opponent is going a high worker opener or a low worker opener. In the Protect Egg 101 for tier 1s, I explained this, so you can check that out first if you don't know how to do that. To keep it simple, just remember that high worker openers will get about 80 Mythium total by the start of wave 3. Low worker openers will get 60 Mythium total. If the wave goes long for whatever reason, whether it's someone building a Bone Crusher on wave 1 or someone leaking, just add 20 Mythium. So in this example, your opponent did a high worker opener. He spends 20 Mythium for a King Up on wave 1. So the most he can send on wave 2 is a Snail, so we build nothing. Since high worker openers get 80 Mythium total, and he sent nothing on wave 2, we can expect a brute send on wave 3. So I build to hold a brute send, like so. Let's say on wave 2 somebody leaked, so we are expecting an 80 Mythium send now. You can either pray that they only send brute, or you can give up and build nothing and accept the death of your egg. Instead, you can push workers aggressively with the gold that you have left over. Now, for this example, we have a low worker opener. He skips on wave 1 and sends a DT on wave 2. Since he just spent 40 Mythium and low worker openers cap at 60 Mythium send total, we can conclude that the best send he can do on wave 3 is a 20 Mythium send, a Snail. But wait, somebody leaked. So now you will need to add 20 Mythium to that, so we now expect a DT on wave 3 instead. Just to reinforce this further, let me show you what it looks like in game. Since this game was played before I started researching egg openers, there are a couple mistakes that I noticed. You can try to pinpoint them and discuss in the comment section below. This is an amazing role for an egg opener. We have veterans for DT on wave 2, Desert Pilgrim to play around the brute on wave 3, and also, once we hatch our egg, we can place veterans to hold wave 7 and 8. As I highlighted really quickly, we noticed that our opponent started with a low worker opener and sent King Up on wave 1. When the opponent spends their Mythium on wave 1, we can build egg and nothing else. Since he started a low worker opener and the waves were not long, we can conclude that the best he could do is send a DT on wave 3. Remember, 60 minus the 20 he sent from the first wave. As soon as you build the minimum units required to hold wave 3, you want to be pushing workers with all the gold that you get. Around wave 6, you will want to start saving gold for pierce units on wave 7 and 8. Believe it or not, the game is not over yet. Hydra is extremely weak to wave 7 and 8. So for now, spend all your gold on pushing workers, but be ready to start placing pierce units for wave 7 and 8. The best ones to look out for are Elite Archer, Veterans, Deep Coiler, and Nekomata, the ones that are being played in the background right now. Banana Bunk and Fire Elemental are good alternatives as long as you don't place them early. Placing them early will alert your enemy into sending a Hermit. If all else fails, just take any Pierce unit so that you will not leak too much. Once you have your Pierce damage, spending the rest of your money on Arcane tanks can help a lot as well. Try to get as close as you can to the recommended value and you shouldn't leak too much if at all. Let's begin the next lesson, how to play with a teammate going egg opener. There are two key things to remember when your teammate is playing egg opener. Rule number 1, do not leak waves 1 to 3, ever. Rule number 2, do not leak your opponent on waves 1 and 2. I built Angler with my gate guard so that I do not break rule number 1, and I did King up on wave 1 to not break rule number 2. I wanted to build Wow Shroom here, but since I was 2 gold short, I built Sea Serpent instead. In hindsight, I probably played too conservative. The Wow Shroom should have been perfectly sufficient for holding a DT on wave 3 even without the Sea Serpent on wave 2. Remember that from here, Hydra is weak to wave 7 and 8, so be prepared to cover his leaks. Now for the last lesson, how to play against Egg Opener. My first tip is to always spend all your Mythium on your wave 3 send. Use this infographic to guide you on what to send based on how much Mythium you have. Just to clarify, on option 4, I don't literally mean anything. I mean send something like Brute plus Snail, or Double DT, or Dino, or Fiend plus Snail. My second tip would be to try to underbuild a bit to leak on wave 2. This extra time will maybe allow you to send a bigger send on wave 3. Alternatively, have your teammate try to underbuild a bit to leak on wave 2. Don't fret if you fail to leak him on waves 2 and 3. Consider not sending on wave 6 to send big with your teammate on wave 7 or 8. If you break the egg on wave 3, you may have an opportunity to leak him earlier than you expect. If he has only Pierce damage supporting the Hydra, use this infographic. Also, this is a gift for watching till the end, as this infographic is even more useful for the egg player to know the absolute limits of this build past wave 3. Click the video to continue this 3-part series. This is my last video on egg openers, but don't worry, I have other exciting educational videos planned.